What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Excited.
Yeah,
Nervous. And
welcome.
it's fucking awesome to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, bro. You're out in Cali. I saw you. I've been following your Instagram for a while, and I think you. I saw you comment on one of Shogun's posts or something like that. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about when I first followed you. I never. I looked at my message history. I was like, I can't. I must have forgot to hit you up because when I first followed you, I wanted to invite you on. So, but you look awesome, man. I love your gear.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Cheers.
Hell
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah! Cheers, brother. Nice. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you're at, and then what group you're a part of or team you're a part of.
All right. I go by Ritual, WCGF team, acronym for We Crave Gunfights. Been following Airsoft for about 15 years, but never got into the sport till 2 years ago.
Wow.
I live in Kern County, Kern County, California, in a little town called Rosamond. Sorry, Rosamond, Kern County.
Yeah.
Been here for about 2 years. Got my own house, and ever since I got my house, I kind of flourished more when it came to airsoft. It's kind of not being constricted in the city so much and having close neighbors. So having that big freedom here that I have, big space, it gave me the chance to do things that I couldn't do in the city. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
What part of the city were you at?
It was
Out in
around
Cali, like L.A. or something.
City, around Hollywood.
Oh, yep.
Hollywood around there, yeah, and lived there for most of my life, till I was maybe 33. I moved out of the city and then kind of found the town and loved it now, I'm
Yeah.
town life, high desert.
Okay. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I've been to Hollywood a handful of times. The first time I took I'd been there before I got married. I was stationed at Pendleton, so I had flown my wife out from Ohio. She was going to Kent State University, and I flew her out while I was still in. It's before we got married. I flew her out and took her to Hollywood. So she stayed out there for a week. We rented a hotel and stuff, and then so the first weekend she was there, I took her to Hollywood, and I borrowed a buddy of mine's car. It was a little Mazda Miata, or no, M2 or something like that, right? Real tiny thing. It's like a 1987 or something like that. So we drove up there. Now the traffic was, crazy even back then on I-5, and so we get out there. Now we had left like around rush hour and got there, a little bit after rush hour. We got there a little bit after start getting dark a little bit. So we we park and we're close to Sunset Boulevard, and we want to go down Hollywood Boulevard, where all the stars are, on the sidewalk and shit, right? And so we come around this corner, and she's already like there's that area is kind of like there's a lot of people walking around. It's still busy. There's a bar over here, kind of catty corner across from oh, was it Gucci? The Gucci store? I can't remember. It was right there on Sunset Boulevard. Anyway, so there's a bar over there. There's people standing in line to get in. Okay, like two gay guys standing there with like leather chaps on, with their ass cheeks hanging out. No shit. Okay, and so we come around the corner to go down Hollywood Boulevard, and we almost run into this guy. Okay, he's got like a trench coat on, and he opens it up. He's like, "Hey man, you want some rock?" Now this is 1990. Yeah, so this is like 1991.
Oh man, right on.
Yeah. So they called crystal meth or whatever or crack. They called it rock. He's like, "You want some rock?" And I just laughed. I was like, "No man." And he's like, he opens up the other side. He's got watches hanging there. I'm just like, "Nah, dude, man." She is like holding on to my arm, like her nails are digging into my arm. She's never been around this shit. So, and I'm like, "It's fine, honey. We're walking around." So that was well, that was her first time being in Hollywood.
Oh,
And
man.
so she's like, and Hollywood Boulevard, when they're not shooting a film on that street, it's normal. It's got bums sleeping in the storefronts that are closed up. You got trash blowing down the street a little bit. It's not like perfectly cleaned up like it is in the movies. And she was like, "Oh my God, this is so weird." So it was a eye opener for her.
Oh yeah.
And then
But
I spent some time at Venice Beach, tripping on acid. Okay, so
hey, I never done it, but I done shrooms. That's as far as I go,
hey,
man.
it's about the same, honestly.
Holy hell! Like the one time I did do it, I took a whole freaking eighth of it, and holy hell, man, it was a roller coaster ride. It was a roller coaster ride, man.
Uh huh.
Weed, mushrooms, and a beer here and there. I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck yeah.
Now, what? So you grew up in that area there when you were a kid in that
Sir,
city? Okay.
sir, I did. Yeah, born and raised.
Yeah, man. Cali,
And
man, it's got some good roots out there, bro. I know, over the last probably 15 years or so, the politics stuff has really kind of, come up, and it's kind of sad to see, because California as a state, just the geography and stuff is beautiful. It is beautiful. We lived out there. We lived our first when we first got married. We got married. I still had 2 years left in the Corps, and we lived in this small town called Fallbrook. And I took her all around, right? Like uh, Riverside, and we went bar hopping out there. Went to the mountains. Went to the desert. Ride dirt bikes and shit. And Palm Springs, out there, and then of course the beach all the time. But it was great because you're right there in the middle. Like, we lived in Oceanside, we lived in Fallbrook, we lived in Vista, and anytime a new apartment would come up where it was cheaper, hey, we're moving, because we didn't have anything. I had all
hey,
my shit in a sea bag. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there you go.
yeah. Right. But yeah, we got to travel a little bit out there. It was fun. But
Okay.
I hated leaving. I didn't want to leave. We had our first child out there.
Are you located now?
I'm in South Carolina, but we're both from Northeast Ohio. So we were out there. I got out in late '93. My son was born in '94, like a year later, and we were still out there. Well, then of course both of our parents were in Ohio, and they're like, "Are you gonna move back with the grandbaby? Like, you can't keep the grandbaby from us, kind of thing." And so we ended up doing that. We moved back to Northeast Ohio and stayed there until '07, and then in '07 we moved down here to South Carolina, and
Huh.
I've been here ever since and loved it. Yeah.
My mom is from Iowa. My grandparents are from Iowa. Never been there. I have been to Canada. I was up there for about 6 years or so. Saskatoon. It's
Yeah.
about six, roughly 12 hours away from the Sweet Border Grass, which is Montana. Loved it out there. Beautiful. The prairies, the fresh air, man. It's a different world out there, man. It's so beautiful. The people are great. The sceneries are beautiful. Ran into a couple of elks. Some weird animals out there, like huge, as big as a freaking house, man. Holy hell, those things are scary huge.
They're
But
big, dude. Yeah.
they're fucking huge, man. Bigger than the SUV, man. Oh, yeah,
Well, it's
fucking huge.
like their legs are so tall, like their
Right.
legs are so long, and then they're massive anyway, like tons of muscle, right? But their head, their you know crown
Yeah.
up here, bro. Yeah, their horns are huge.
Oh man. And so we did some hunting down there, and we did I think it was, how do you call it was like an elk, but what's the baby version of an elk? Not like a baby version, but a teenage version of an elk. We took it down, made some bacon out of it.
Like the like deers, and
Yeah, I guess a deer, right? A deer, not a
there's
giant.
I'm the wrong one to ask, man. I see all these animals, I see all these hunting things, and I don't know which antelope. Let's see, what has horns? Rhinoceros. No, that ain't it.
You can go, but yeah, it was fun times. I do love to travel. And one of the things that actually got me into airsoft was paintball. Funny thing. paintball is actually the doorway that got me into airsoft, and I did that for about 6 years until I was like, you know what? I think I'm over the paint. I need to do something better, something different, and it kind of just stirred me back into airsoft again,
Hmm.
and been addicted ever since, and yeah, can't let it go. I met a bunch of great people. Shout out to Shogun SoCal. I love you guys. Thank you for inviting me into Family Man. God, I love you guys. Poet, Storm the Poet, my boys WCGF, my wife, Mrs. Ritual. I love you. She's like, the soccer mom, but she's more like the airsoft mom.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
shout out to all of my boys. Thank you for being a great part of my life, and again to you for having me on this show, man. It's a big deal for me.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's really cool. When I find somebody that's and this has happened. It's very common, but with a lot of airsofters, like you're so grateful, right? You're shouting on everybody. You're it's really cool to be around people like that. When they're humble and they're grateful and they're really really thankful for the things they have in their life. And we were talking. I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and they said, how like getting in a funk or whatever, like they were by themselves. They had in fact, before we started recording, he said, so we can talk about anything, but I just had a recent breakup after like 2 years with this girl, so I don't want to talk about that. I was like, yeah, that's fine, dude. No, I won't bring it up. So and it kind of came up a little bit as he talked, just certain things, and he's like, yeah, getting in the funk, whatever, And I said, man, I'm gonna tell you a really good tip for getting out of this self pity, right? Um, is gratitude, being grateful, bro. You cannot be thankful and grateful, like truly, if you're genuine, and be unhappy. It doesn't. They can't coexist almost. It's like when you're really grateful and thankful, it's very hard to be angry
It
or
is.
sad. Uh huh.
Uh, Funny because it's funny you bring that up because in the city I had a lot of anger issues.
Mm,
With the tension around me, my neighbors, just my whole surrounding wasn't good. But like I said 2 years ago, ever since I moved here, there's been a whole lift off my shoulders since that. Like having the freedom to do things and not having that mental stress of having my neighbors bump their music or talk shit at like 1 in the morning. It's like it's just very stressful. But
mm,
it has been a great outlet to be here, and because of it, it has made me create a backyard field, and that backyard field has actually made me make a lot of friends too, and which is what me and my team use a lot. So if you guys visit my channel, which is Dad versus Son Airsoft WCGF,
yeah.
you'll see a bunch of videos there of the whole team getting down. A bunch of friends getting down. I had Pod here 2 weeks ago. I can't wait to have him back again. Hopefully, some of the WCGF boys can come back again. Some of the SoCal Shogun boys can come through. And yeah, so tomorrow I'm actually hosting a private game, two private games. One from 9 in the morning till 3, which is going to be the morning game, and then from 8 at night till 10 ish is going to be tracers. And there's
Oh
going to
shit.
be so roughly 10, 16 people or so. So yeah, fun times.
And that's gonna be at your place,
They're in my backyard.
bro. You got enough land, like a big enough area to do.
Yeah.
Oh, what a big
Right.
difference, man. I'm gonna tell you when and that I know exactly what you're talking about. When we lived in Cali, of course, I was still in the military and stuff, so it was a little different. Like, but the daily, like, we weren't home a lot. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't in our apartment a lot, but the little times we were, it was like um, that apartment living in a kind of where it's crowded and you don't really have a yard. You can't really get away, and yeah, we were surrounded by people that were just constantly fighting and throwing shit at each other and breaking shit on the walls and so it was we didn't realize how much like tension it was causing, just that bad vibration, bro. Like you're around all those bad vibes, and we didn't realize until we got away from it. And when we moved back to Ohio, we were kind of on a back road. We lived on a back road that was it had a bunch of houses and stuff, but everyone was they were kind of spread out, and so you just everyone was like there was like an old couple lived over here. They were quiet as hell. You know, this guy over here, my neighbor was worked at Ford as a mechanic, and he was always working on car. Really chill, man. He was always smoking weed, and he'd come over there and be like, "Hey, man, how's your car? Do you need work on your car and stuff?" I mean, it was just a totally different atmosphere. And then we moved to South Carolina, and bro, it was even like the next step of that because everyone was like quiet, like slow. Everyone, they would drive down the street and we were sitting out on a front porch or something. We have a covered front porch and they would sit out or we'd sit out there and drink or whatever, talk. And these guys, everyone that drove down the street would wave. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
same
who
here
the
in this little town, too, dude. It's so weird to get used. It's so weird to get used to that friendliness again.
right.
Like you can't even look at somebody without them looking at you trying to kill you or something. It's like I miss those days where you could look at somebody and say hi and what's up like this, and it's just like a normal thing. But now it's like, yeah, dude. But here in town, oh, I love it. Everybody's friendly. Everybody waves hi. They say good morning. They say good evening. They say good night. Like they're still very humble in that sense. You
Uh-huh.
know, I love that, and it's a great place. So I do love it a lot here. Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard for me to get used to too, man. It was we did people would drive by and wave and I'm going, the hell? Who was that? And they're like,
Like,
I don't know.
person.
I know. I'm like, so they drove by, I drove by, and just and everyone's waving. I'm like, what the fuck? Who who are these people? And it started to irritate me a little bit. And then my in-laws have lived here for like 30 years, and they said, no, man, that's how everybody is down here. I was like, what? That I didn't know that still existed. And
Yeah, it.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
A rare commodity to still have around in this society, bro. Like, yeah, that's all I got to say, man. I appreciate the people around me. I have a wonderful crazy cat lady that has like 40 fucking cats, and then my neighbor to my left, he's like a very nosy motherfucker, but I still love him. So and everybody here, there's a couple of veterans that live around here because I live next to Edwards Air Force Base.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a couple of miles away from them. But there's a lot of veterans that live around here. It's very quiet, very zen, dude. Like, no one fucks with me here, man. Like, everybody's very cool here, dude. Yeah,
That's
very.
awesome, man. Yeah, it's when I hear people talking about how they grew up, and like growing up in a city or an urban area and and just kind of like they just walk the streets, man, and it's so different. It's so different because when you get out, there's like we were saying, that totally different energy. When you get away from that and you get out just even just a little bit away, and you got some land, you get in touch with nature, even just a little bit. Man, it's like you can just really relax.
Seriously, you
Yeah.
really. I haven't seen the stars in 15 years, bro. Living out here in this town, I could see every freaking star now. It is so beautiful. Like, it is breathtaking, man. It's just, man, yeah,
Uh huh.
it really
Oh,
is.
that's
It's
cool,
beautiful.
man. Now, did you grow up with siblings? Did you guys have a big family? Your parents?
Kind of. I grew up with two sisters and a brother, so there was four of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we all loved each other. We all respected each other. We all live in different places now, but yeah, my brother is and actually he has his own electrician company. My sister, she just goes to church, plays instruments and stuff like that. I'm not much of a church person. Don't really believe in the church, but for the most part, it's been a good life. I did grow up in South Central though, the Hard Knock, South Central,
Woo.
gangland, like for almost 8 years of my life down there, dude. From all the way from 60s to 80s to 112th Street, and man, it gets ghetto and ghetto the more you go down. But
Yeah.
I that shit, man. Oh yeah.
What was so South Central was that the Crips and the Bloods out in that area back in the
Sir.
day before
Now,
Tupac? Yeah.
now I don't even know what it is down there. I'm pretty sure it's crazy shit happening down there, but that's the least of my worries, man. That's not my world, man.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
remember when I first saw Colors, those older gang movies from that area, Colors, and then was it New Jack City?
blood in, blood
Uh,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's some good movies. It's funny because I was actually going on a binge on those movies last week.
Oh shit.
Yeah, And then I was binge watching The Sopranos this week. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
dude, that's one I need to go back and watch, bro. Yes.
this shit 3 times already, dude. It's so good. Like it's so good, man. Like, holy shit,
You know
it
what I
really is.
did? I did that with the show called The Shield. You know about the cops with
Yeah, dude,
Michael Chiklis. Hmm.
I've seen a couple episodes too. Really good. Yeah.
So when I was laid up the first time, when I was paralyzed, whatever, and I was just I never watched TV. I never watched. I wasn't a TV show watcher, and until I didn't really have a choice, and so so I started watching these shows that they're kind of older, but for me, it was like, oh, I never even heard of these. I guess they were popular, like 5 years before that or something.
Or
And
something like that.
my buddy's like, why don't you watch this? Or they have 9 seasons. You could binge watch all that. It'll keep your mind off of being laid up in bed. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, you never heard of this? I'm like, no, bro, I didn't watch TV like at all. And which was funny because when I started the YouTube channel, like I didn't even want my kids to be on YouTube. Before that, I was like, hey, put your phone down. Let's go outside. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So, and that's what we did. But, and then coming out of that, I was like, let's see, what can I do here? I can sit here at this desk and I don't know how to program, right? I don't know how to like program a
Dude,
game.
actually 11 years old, and he's big on programming.
Really?
He is big on programming. Like this little dude is always talking to me about coding. I don't understand shit the dude says, but he does. And he's really deep into that. He loves it. He loves coding. My older son, who we call Six, he does editing. He's into the editing kind of slash coding type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good profession. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Dude. One of my buddies, his wife does apps, phone apps, works on phone apps, coding for that. And I forget what the language is called or whatever, but one of my buddies years and years ago tried to show me this before he moved here to South Carolina. Tried to show me he was Microsoft certified. He knew how to build, back end of websites and stuff, and tried to show me C plus and some other thing, Java, back when Java was a thing, and it was over my head, bro. I didn't stick with it enough to really learn, and memorize the lines, like the most common thing, I recognize, but other than that, I'm like, nah, it's not me.
And that was my cousin too. He was a big tech nerd. Like he built his own computer. He does the coding thing. He does the whole hacking thing. Like he's really deep into that stuff. He tried teaching me that. I liked it, but it kind of bored me. I've always been a musician. Like that's my thing. I've been a drummer for about 10, 15 years or so. I stopped drumming about maybe 8 years ago. I did get into singing. I love singing. I'm a big death metal fan. I love heavy metal.
I saw it
Um,
on your Instagram, bro. I was like, hell yeah, okay.
Dude, my Instagram is littered with metal. I do love the ukulele. I picked up the ukulele about 3 years ago due to my daughter. She had a music assignment and they gave her a ukulele. And I told her, hey, what is that? It's like a mini guitar, and she strummed it and it sounded so beautiful. And I went to YouTube and started searching up music. I self-taught myself and been playing it ever since and been making my own music and stuff like that, dude. I love the ukulele now. Yeah, I'm all about it, dude.
That's wild. Okay. Drummer turned ukulele player. I love it. You got to figure out how to get the ukulele sound into some metal songs.
Oh, dude, I've been trying to mess with that because my girl has a iPad, and since there's drums on there, I kind of play my rhythm and play something to that and see what I can, make up and stuff. So yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. Oh yeah.
The guy I just talked with last night, Newsom, his name is Shane Newsom. He's got a podcast. He actually made he's into metal and he sings metal. He made a song for me
Nice.
uh, after the first time I had him on the podcast. He was like, I want to make you this song. It was like a little tiny, 20 or 30-second song. I was like, I was blown away, bro. Like, you came up with this
Yeah,
quick?
dude, you tagged me with that.
It was awesome. And matter of fact, and yeah, out of respect for him and you, and for loving metal, and I love metal. When this comes out, that's going to be the intro. Okay, we're going to use that as the intro.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. Well, look on my Instagram. I had, if you look at my Instagram, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see just a couple months ago, we went to my wife and I went to a metal show here, not too far, about an hour and a half away, up in Charlotte, and
Yeah.
we went to see August Burns Red, and I can't remember who else was there. Um, Man, I can't remember, but anyway, we saw August Burns Red, and maybe Trivium was there,
Yeah,
but
I got to see him last year too with my wife. Yep, yeah.
oh,
So
nice,
got to
dude,
see
I
him with.
love, yeah. Now, what? Yeah, when was the last time you went to a metal concert? Was that last year?
Yes, sir. It was last year, I think, around middle of the year, and it was Megadeth, Lamb of God, Hatebreed, and there was one more band. I can't put my finger on it, but oh my god, that show was fucking amazing. And after that guy's voice, after having cancer in his voice, that guy sings like a fucking angel, man. Holy
It's
hell,
crazy.
was off to Megadeth, bro. Like, whew, holy hell, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we went to see, my wife and I went to see Megadeth, and dude, I'm blank. This was last year when they came to South Carolina.
right on.
Uh, the arena's like 20 minutes from our house, and the guy I was working with at the time we were flipping houses, he got free tickets. So he was like, "Hey, I know you like metal. Do you want these? I can't use them." And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So went to see Megadeth and whoever they were touring with. But yeah, man, it's been cool.
Yes.
We went to oh, who was it? It was the Trinity. It was called the Trinity of Terror. This is the end of last year. We went with my
Was
daughter and son-in-law.
was it Slayer and Megadeth or some bands like that? I can't remember. I think so. I heard something like that, but I'm not
Yeah, it
sure
was
what it.
Trinity of Terror. It was Motionless in White,
Uh,
Black Veil Brides, and there was a third one. Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides, and whoever was with them. So, but man, it was awesome. It was awesome. All three bands. I had never heard of any of those three bands. My youngest daughter and her husband, they're both into metal, and so he's always like, "Hey man, we're going to this concert, in a couple months. Do you want to?" And he'll send me the link and everything, to for the info on it. And I'm like, "Yeah." And my wife and I, when our kids, we have 5 kids and they're all grown. My youngest one's 21, oldest one's 28. So, and they're all moved out and everything. Well, we said last year after our last one moved out, we said, look, if any of our kids invite us to do things with them, we're not going to turn it down. We'll do everything we can to go, and do that, because you never know how long you got with your kids. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know. So, and we don't, and if they're going to invite us, if they want to hang out with us, hell yeah, okay. So we started doing that. We went to like 3 different metal concerts with my daughter and son-in-law. So it's been cool, man. We got some good stories.
I'm the only one in the house that listens to metal here. All of my kids and my girl, they all listen to like, that rap, hip hop,
Oh yeah.
electro type of stuff. I'm not into that type of music, man. I'm just a straight metalhead. I do have my times where I don't know if you heard of like satanic country music, but I'm a big
Uh-uh.
fan of that too. Like a band that I listen to mostly is Me and That Man. I love that band. Like that band is amazing. He actually has
Really?
another called Behemoth. So I don't know if you heard of
Behemoth?
Behemoth, other band. Yeah.
I have heard of Behemoth,
So that's
but
his
me and that man,
Me and That Man. Check them out. Amazing
I'm gonna
music.
check it out.
And yeah, I've been kind of stuck in my metal phase ever since, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else I would love to have than just metal.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's cool, dude. Listen, I would have never guessed, starting this podcast. I would have never guessed how many different things that I've learned about, especially with music. There's a lot of people that are musicians or big into music, that are airsofters, and so one of the guys I talked with, he 6 millimeter Maniac is the team he's with, and he's a metalhead, and he plays metal too. He's a guitarist,
Oh,
and
dude.
he he was, as we're talking, he's like, "Hey man, have you heard of Polyphia?" And I'm like, "Who? What the hell's that?" And he's like, "Man, I don't know." So it's not really metal, right? It's not considered metal. I don't know what kind of genre it's considered. It's like its own thing. But Polyphia and there's another one he told me about. So I started listening to this stuff, and it just blew my mind because he went from, he still loves metal, but he was telling me about that, and I said, so I was texting him one day at work, and I said, "Bro, I've been listening to Polyphia all fucking day. Like, I'm hooked on it now." He goes, "I know, that's how I was." But it's a really cool transition from metal to that because it's got this. It's not like a standard. Their music's not really like a.
Melodic, like,
Yeah, it's up and
but
down.
it's the
It
metal.
changes. It changes tempo, like just all of a sudden. Um, it's almost like, and I'm horrible with kind of like connecting like old music and styles and stuff, but like almost like jazz when they're doing like just riffing, like in they're just kind of riffing off each other, and then it just changes drastically automatic.
Weird breaks in it, but the weird breaks intertwine so perfect that it sounds so
Yeah,
good.
right.
Yeah.
That's how this is. And so anyway, I've talked to a bunch of people that are big into music and stuff, and a couple people that were drummers, a couple guitarists, and in fact, I think the I think he's out in your area actually. SoCal is Bread. Well, his Instagram is Bread, Bred, and what is his team? Anyway, I still chat with him here and there, but he did a song, like a hip hop kind of song, whatever, music video. And so I played it during the podcast. I was like, "Really? What is this?" And so I pulled it up and played it and shit. So, yeah, I've met so many musicians on here, and it takes me down these roads like this one, Me and That Man. Now I'm gonna check it out, and I'll probably be texting you this week, bro, or this weekend, like, "Bro, oh my god, I listen to this song."
It's really good. It's very humble music, man. Like I've listened to country music. Like my mom grew up on country music, like Shania Twain and all them other country singers and stuff like that. But this just hit different. Like his lyrics, the way he sings, the way the dude carries himself is just it's a whole different world with this guy, man. But I hope you do enjoy them. They've been a big a big a part of my life. So yeah, I love that band.
Yeah. Okay. Hell yeah, man. Now, how did you get into drumming? Did you start as a young kid?
Yeah, I actually started drumming at around 10 around there. I got my first drum set around 11 years old. I used to use my cousin's drum set before I got my own drum set. So that's how I kind of got into the whole beat thing, which is the guy I told you that does the computer nerd, that build his own computers and stuff like that. So he was very big in music too. He recorded his own music. So he had like a little sound room where he had a microphone, padding on the wall, like he had a whole little studio. And that's where I would go on the weekends, hang out with him, drum out until I told my mom, "Hey, I'm loving the drums, man. Like, can I have my own drum set?" Got my own little cheap drum set, bashed the hell out of it and kind of made my way to being a better drummer. But yeah, dude. And then I found out about the double pedals. And holy shit, when I found out about double pedals, man, was my world just over, bro. Like, holy shit. Yes, yes.
Oh, there's
Drum.
I got to look this up because there's this drummer I follow, a couple of them actually on Instagram. It's a chick. She's young, this young chick, and bro, what is it?
Is she an Asian chick?
Oh, I follow her too. I know who you're talking about. That's the other one I follow.
But I'm pretty sure you've seen her too. Yeah.
I honestly I can't remember what this girl's Instagram name is. Shit, it's something drummer, drumming. But anyway, oh, Chris Drummer. That's it. So it's Christina, and I can't pronounce her last name. But she is amazing, bro.
Pretty sure she is.
Holy
Beast.
crap! I need to send you. I'm gonna send you this. You're gonna like some of her shit. But
Let
it's
me
pretty
see.
crazy how fast she does the double bass, and just. And there's a guy I follow that's a drummer too, and he does some crazy shit. He'll be staring at the camera like this, not even looking at his drums. Yeah, one handed, and the other one is just he's hitting and flipping it and catching it and just not even looking at it. And he's staring at you at the camera and just going da, 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 with the double bass, his hand one drummer with one hand, and then the other one he's just flipping this thing and catching it. And I'm like, how does he not drop this shit, bro?
That dude's on a different level, man. Like sometimes he be drinking a beer or he be smoking a cigarette or he just be doing something and just fucking going ham on everything, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, one handed and just it's funny. Yeah, I love following those that kind of shit and seeing those videos. Yeah, I never really consider myself I like really big into music because everyone I grew up with, in the '80s and stuff, when we were teenagers, everyone was big into music. Like, if you said you were big into music, it was like you were in a band or something, because we had just '80s big hair bands blasting all the time, and so oh yeah. And then of course I went to the military and kind of expanded. Metallica was starting to become popular then, and then I actually saw them when I was stationed at Pendleton in '91 in San Diego at the Starlight Bowl.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah, they were with. I'm gonna tell you who opened up for them was Warrant. They were doing their Cherry Pie tour. Yeah.
Right on, dude. Man, that's one band that is on my bucket list that I would love to see. And sad to say, Slayer, they gave up the mantle. They kind of stopped playing, so it kind of sucks. But I pray that they come back and make one more show so I could maybe see them. But yeah, those two bands are on my bucket list most definitely. Yes.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
For real. Okay. Well, how did you follow? You said you followed Airsoft for a long time, but you only got into it a couple years ago. How did that happen?
So funny thing, me and my mom were in the Santee Alleys. I'm pretty sure whoever lives in California knows about the downtown Santee Alleys. So what the alleys are is that you go there and buy cheap stuff, right? Like everything is pretty much 50% off. Like a pair of Levi jeans will cost you $100 or $80 would be like $20-$30. So we'd go down there every weekend, and one day I just saw this little corner and I saw a bunch of rifles and with orange tips. So I was like, what is that? So the one that caught my eye was a G36. And it was this weird shotgun type of looking electric shotgun. Yeah, it was weird. And he just had a bunch of like different guns just lined up everywhere. And that's how I kind of got into getting into airsoft more, knowing that there was more than just a $5 little Springer. There was guns that you can fill up with gas and batteries and stuff like that. So I was like, holy hell, like that's just opening a giant horizon over me, And little by little, that's how I kind of started getting into it. But then again, I fell off of it and got into paintball. So like I said, I didn't have the space I wanted to do when I wanted to do airsoft. I lived in an apartment, stuff like that. But kind of paintball kind of gave me that leeway because I would do it twice a month. For about 4 years, I did it with my cousins. And like I said, I kind of got tired of the paint, and it was. I kind of want to get back into airsoft. I want to look cool and tactical, and kind of make my own, my own get up and kit and stuff like that. And it's some dude, it's been really cool. Oh yeah.
Now, when you were playing paintball, was that like what's around you? You've got a bunch of fields out there. You got SC Village, you got Hollywood Sports or Hollywood Action or something like that, and then
back down there right now around me, my home field would be Warped Ops and Ambush.
Okay.
And I believe Airsoft California, I think they're called. No, I mean Paintball California or US California, something like that. But those are the 3 spots around me right now. Yeah, everything else is like 2-3 hours, maybe 3-4 hours away from me, but that's the closest right now. Yeah.
Okay.
And then my home field, my backyard, of course.
Right. No shit, dude. Yeah. So when is your first? You said you're hosting your first event this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow Saturday is my first real big
Oh,
having shout out to Airsoft Viking. Fuck yeah, man, he's coming tomorrow. Shout out to you, brother. Poet and a couple of other people that I would like to shout out, but I want to keep it private at the moment.
yeah,
But yeah, it's gonna be an amazing day tomorrow. I can't wait. You know, it's gonna get cracking. So go visit the channel. I'll be posting videos up there and short clips too, man. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay. Oh, that's cool, bro. Yeah, that's now how did you meet up with Shogun, or how did you run into those guys?
That was an interesting story too. My team went to our first tactical league tournament. It was at Battle Labs, and it was for the future war event that they were throwing. And I was hanging out across the street from him, and he was hanging out by a truck having a cigarette. And I saw him have like a metal band jacket, and I was like, "That's my type of fucking person." So as I'm walking, I'm listening to what he's listening to, like some heavy shit. And I'm like, dude, who the fuck is that? He's like, oh, so and so. And I was like, dude, that sounds fucking cool. So I looked him up, and that's how we got to clicking up, man. Like, music is universal, man. Like
Hmm.
shit, man. If someone listens to, and it's funny because it's hard for me to find metalheads, dude. Holy shit, it's hard for me to find friend metalhead. Like shit. And I appreciate you, man. Love you guys. Fuck yeah, Shogun, man. But yes, that's how I met the dude. I love him. I love his whole crew. Those guys are fucking amazing, dude.
Oh yeah.
Love them. Hell yeah. Love those
Well, I
guys.
I had them on, so I had their whole team, well, most of their team on.
Yeah, it's
Probably
all
you
yeah, it's
saw them,
almost
yeah, 6 or 7 months ago, and then I just recently had Ryan and who else was on? It was just three of us, I think. So we were on, and oh yeah, his buddy, actually one of his buddies that's on the team, whatever, was in the Marines as well. So we talked about that for a while. But me and Ryan were drinking when we started the podcast. Well, it went so long, we both started slurring. It's just shit. We sounded like shit by the end, and so I messaged him after, like the next day, and I said, "Bro, I really need to edit some of these things out that I was like rambling on because I was like talking real slow, it's like that. And when you're
uh,
editing the next day and you're sober and you're doing it like, oh shit. And so, so he goes, dude, make sure you fit, like, I probably sound like an idiot too because he remembered how, he was like starting to feel it towards the end. And so I cut out, some of the stuff to where we didn't sound too bad. But if you listen to that one, like towards the end, oh, bro, we were. He messaged me the day it came out and was like, "Holy shit, my my wife is gonna be like, what is wrong with you?"
yeah, that was good, man. That was a good podcast, dude. That good shit, man.
Yeah, we had a good time, man. I love those guys. They're that's the way they've grown their team because the first time I had him on, yeah, it was like 6 months because we talked about that where he was like, yeah, when we talked to you the first time, we had like I think it was I don't know 8 or 10 people on our team, and now they've got like 50. And I said, bro, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, and so that's kind of what the conversation was about this past one, So yeah, a lot of cool people out in your area, like Shogun. There's I can't even remember how many people I've talked with that are out in Cali, SoCal, NorCal, like just all over. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh.
right. Yeah, and I mean, I had Storm the Poet on, and when I had him on, man, he was like, "Oh man, I'm so nervous, bro. I've never been on a podcast." I said, "Bro, it's totally chill, man. It's totally chill. We're doing is bullshit, okay? You know."
Yeah, dude. I was telling my wife, I was like, holy shit, babe. Like, I don't even know what to expect. Like, my heart is fucking beating out of my chest. Like, fuck. She's like, I'll just be here supporting you next to you. Okay, I'll be your emotional support. I was like,
Yeah,
thanks, babe.
man.
But yeah, I mean, it's chill, dude. And I thought it was gonna be a little more like an interview, like a fucking job interview or something. Like,
I
hey,
know,
man,
right?
your skill.
What gun do you use and what FPS do you set it at for, like, bro, I don't talk like that, okay? I don't have a script. I can't follow one. When I, once I kind of, I had been doing these for a little bit, like, I didn't really think of them as an official podcast. I did about probably 30 before I really even like said in my head, okay, I'm going to make this a podcast. So they were just very spontaneous. I was just talking with some buddies of mine that had followed our YouTube channel and were on our, I had chatted with for a couple years on our Discord. And so it was a while before I even said, okay, I'm going to make it a podcast. When I started kind of formulating that idea, I thought about that. I thought about, okay, I've heard all these popular podcasts, for years. Okay, so I need a good intro with this music or whatever and whatever kind of thing. And then I just had these ideas in my head from these other podcasts, like, okay, I need a format. And I kind of started doing that a little bit, like in my head. I started making all this stuff up. And the first, I played around with some intros, like music and all this, whatever. Like, oh yeah, you got to make it sound badass, and then I was just like, what am I doing? Like, I don't really like following the norm anyway, you know?
You man, you gotta do you.
Yeah, I got to do me, man. And I'm like, you know what? I'm really comfortable talking with people, just in real life, outside of this, and just starting conversations. And I love to hear people's stories about their life. So that's how it's going to be. And I'm not going to have a format. And I remember I was a little self-conscious about it at first because people would ask me, like, what should I do? Remember how you texted me and was like, okay, what do I need to prepare for, right? And I'm like, so in the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe I should tell them, like, okay, here's the format, so that they feel comfortable, and then I feel like it's more professional, And I'm like, man, fuck all that shit, bro. I don't know I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I don't know how to run a podcast. I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do, and this is how I started out. I was like, I would just message people back. I said, hey, we're just going to BS about your background and airsoft experience, and then whatever else comes up. And so I've never had a format, never. And so when people ask me, I said, I text them the same thing that I text you, like, just, hey, we're just chill, man, no big deal,
Totally, I know that. I was over here shitting bricks, like trying to get a whole fucking, page going to get things ready. But no, man, cheers to you. I love it. It's fucking chill as hell, man.
Oh, good, man, good. Yeah, just relax, be yourself. I do lead the conversation because I am curious about your life. And when things come up, I kind of spin off of that, like, oh, well, how did you get into drumming? Like, did you like drumming? When you were whatever, like, that's and I like the conversation to go that way. I don't like it to be really scripted. I'm not really professional kind of person anyway, like just normally. Yeah, I'm not. I worked in factories most of my life. I worked in construction, and even in even in like an office environment where we had to go into bigger meetings, because I ran a crew in different factories. I was in, kind of management positions a couple times. So it's like, you go to those meetings with everybody, man, look, they're still the same. Yeah, people are a little more uptight and everything. There are some standards, you can't talk the same way you can out on the factory floor, but you kind of can, and so it just, look, we're all people just kind of doing our job or doing whatever, like, and I was really nervous when I started these podcasts too. I was really nervous because I didn't think I had enough airsoft background or knowledge. I didn't think I had, you know how we all do. It's just like, oh, I don't know.
We overthink time.
You're right. Yeah. But yeah, it's chill, man. And I feel like what I want, and I think what I wanted when I first started talking with people is to get to a place where I wanted to start connecting. Obviously, I wanted the guests, on here to be very comfortable and relaxed, but I wanted to start connecting people with other people that they maybe didn't hear about. And that kind of came up because there was, it came up spontaneously because as I'm talking with somebody, they go, well, just like I mentioned to you, I said, yeah, I had Storm the Poet on, I had, these guys, and So I had said that to somebody. I was like, they said, "Oh yeah, I played over at Hollywood Sports." And I'm like, "Oh, I just talked to this whatever," and I name him. This guy over here, Van Alex, and he plays at Hollywood Sports. And they're like, "Oh shit, what? I think I know him." And then they go, "Oh my god, I didn't. We played at the same field for like a year. I didn't even, run into you." So
Was cool stuff to run into people like that, and to always kind of click the dots like that is always fun. Hell yeah.
yeah, absolutely, man. Hell yeah. So what? So going, you got into airsoft. You went full steam ahead because you only been in a short time, but you did the same thing these guys did with Shogun. You got all the gear, you got your whole get up going. Now, what was your first once you started getting all your gear and stuff? What was your first gun that you got, and did you like it?
My first gun, funny thing. So I never so when I made my backyard field, I never had that mentality that I was gonna go out to an actual field and sling BBs with other people, right? It was that mentality where like, well, I have a backyard. I could fucking have fun whenever I want to. So I never really invested into like a really expensive gun. So my first rifle is a DS4. It was a DS4 CQB M4, and it was about $100 plus some change. I got it from USA Airsoft, and it's been kicking ass ever since. My upgrade is a Lancer Tactical Gen 3 M4, and that I play so hard with that thing, I freaking fried the MOSFET. So I gotta I gotta buy a new MOSFET for that shit. Yeah, it's been an ups and downs with my rifles, but I am in love with my Norbridge SSP2 though. Um,
Nice.
my lady and my mom got it for me for my birthday. I love that thing. It's crispy. I'm still breaking it in, so the trigger's a little tight, but that thing kicks ass, dude. I love it. It's my first high kappa, but yeah, I love that thing. That thing kicks ass, man.
Oh, okay. Awesome, dude. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we've had a couple of Novrich guns that we've tested, when we were doing reviews and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. The Norbridge SSP18 was the one I was gonna go for initially, but since I got into a Speedsoft team with some of my boys here on WCGF team, I kind of started leaning the other way. So instead of going with your normal gas mags, I'm using a HPA tank now, tapped and everything with my SSP2. That thing fucking kills and stings like a mother. And I love it. No, I love it, and I'm pretty sure I'll run into something else that's gonna, just blow my mind. But at the moment, that's what I'm in love with.
If you're getting into speed stuff, I've talked to a shit ton of speed softers, right? And a bunch of them out there in Cali. Well, they start talking about the Euro builds for Speedsoft, and because I asked one of them, I was like, why didn't they just, because I started out in paintball as well. Why didn't they just, port over, just bring over make a paintball style gun, but just for airsoft BBs? And because, it has the tank, you don't have to mess with all the MOSFET shit and all the battery shit and all that stuff, whatever. And obviously AEGs have a place, especially at mil sims. They last a lot longer and that kind of thing. You don't have to worry about filling your tanks up and shit. But for Speedsoft, bro, those Euro builds are looking sweet, man.
Look like paintball guns, man, and it's nice because it's nice, but at the same time, it's like, well, you kind of want to keep it airsoft too. You like, I love the mixture of the paintball gun into the airsoft. But yeah, dude, those motherfuckers, they look beautiful, and I've seen so many nice fucking builds, and holy hell, I wouldn't mind having one. I can't even hate on it; they're beautiful. But I'm old school. I'm an '80s baby. I'm very old school. I like M4s. I like the MP5. I like those old school builds like that one.
Yeah. Now, what about a gas blowback rifle? Have you tried those yet?
Yes, my homie, shout out to Director from WCGF2 from the clan. He actually got, I believe it's a blowback Daniel Defense. Woo, that thing is fucking beautiful. I believe it is. I could be wrong, but I know it's a blowback, and it cost him a pretty penny. He brought it here about last week. He might bring it tomorrow for the event and start slinging some BBs with that shit too. But yeah, that thing is beautiful, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we
you guys,
haven't. Yeah, we haven't tried the GBBRs yet. We got a bunch of the pistols, in mystery boxes and stuff that we tried out, but we haven't tried the rifles. And then I was talking to this dude in Belgium. He said him and his buddy went in. They both got MP5s, gas blowbacks. They went to an event. It was like partially, this rundown, like insane asylum or hospital kind of thing or something like that. Long hallways and shit. So they peek out around the corners. They're on either side of the hallway, right? And they peek out and they start slinging down there. And it was so loud and echoed so much that the other team on the other end didn't even like try to shoot down the hallway because they were like, they didn't know how close they were. They were freaking out. He said it was the best feeling ever.
and that's the thing about my backyard, dude. Like, there is no engagement distance in my backyard. Like, if you're face to face, I mean, me and director again, he's mostly always here in my backyard. He's always here in my backyard, and for the most part, the one thing we do dread in my backyard are finger shots, man. Like those point blank finger shots are a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a and we top at 390 FPS is what we top off. Like if your rifle is shooting 400, I will give you an engagement distance depending on the weight of BB you're using, but for the most part, like we don't. 390 is the most, like that.
Yeah.
That's our. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's hot. That's I didn't think so when we first started our channel. I didn't think so, and then I had my boys. I was always bashing Airsoft even after we started our channel because I'm like, that shit can't hurt. That doesn't hurt. I played paintball. Airsoft's for pussies, okay? And I said, so they were like, you know what? You just need to get shot by one because then you'll see. And I was like, fine, let's go. So we were in the middle of doing a review of one of the guns that I got. It was one of these little, SMGs from like the just after the World War II era, whatever. The magazine goes in the side. It was called a Sterling, or the STG, right? So this thing was shooting 380 FPS, had a 90 round mid cap that came with it. Okay, all metal, badass little gun. And I'm about 30 feet away. Okay, and I'm gonna stand over here by the target. I got a beer in one hand, and I'm yelling at them in the other, and I'm like, "Hey, what do come on, just go ahead and shoot my hand, right?" So, yeah, and so they load up the mag. They were like, they didn't want to at first. Two of my boys, they were like, "Nah, man, you don't even know about what's about to happen." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." So they riddled it. I said, "Empty the mag on it." So, bro. The top of my hand. If you look way down, or if somebody scrolls down in our Instagram way back, this is a couple years ago, probably like 3 years ago, you'll see I actually took some pictures of it and a short little video, and it was dripping blood. I mean, there was so many. My hand was wrecked. So it was that was my introduction to how airsoft guns feel. This is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for the next episode where we finish up. Thanks for being here. See you next time.